5:36, we'll call the meeting to order. Can we have a roll call, please?
Yes, President Stephen Kim.
Here.
Vice President Roberto Garcia.
Present.
Clerk Foster Hoffman.
Here.
Trustee Francisco Estrada.
Present.
Trustee Amy Ish.
Here.
Okay, everyone's present and accounted for. Let's see, anyone have public comment for items on the closed session agenda?
I do.
Mr. Gardner.
Thank you. For the record, Frank Garden. I have a child at Mission Park. I want to speak to the item A on the closed session, the superintendent's evaluation. You know, in my line of work, I like to look at all the evidence before forming an opinion on anything. And I would hope that a lot of folks who follow BBB do the same. Some of you may have heard the term preponderance of evidence. I know for sure Mr. Kim has, as a lawyer. That means it's more likely than not that something is true based on the evidence in the record. Now, at the school board meeting of May 9th, Ms. Chaidez announced that a decision had been made to eliminate English SCI Kinder at Lincoln School, and she presented various arguments in support of that decision. Then on May 27th, we hear this report on KCBW with a quote by our superintendent announcing that no decision had been made on eliminating the English program at Lincoln, so parents should enroll their child right away. Then at the last school board meeting on June 13th, we hear a teacher stand up and say, "I have personally witnessed families being turned away from Lincoln School unless they enroll in dual immersion." And since then, another parent has come forward with testimony that she was told as early as April 7th, personally by our superintendent, that her children must attend Monterey Park or Mission Park in order to enroll in an English curriculum, even though she lives only 4 houses away from Lincoln. So the preponderance of evidence, when you examine what Ms. Chaidez said about closing the English program versus what Ms. Martinez told the media, and then a teacher and parents coming forward to say their children have been turned away, that preponderance of the evidence is telling us that it's more likely than not that our school district has not been honest with people. I'm sorry you weren't honest with the media, Ms. Martinez. That's really unfortunate because I see that as a huge breach of trust. The evidence is telling us that it was never the intent of the school district to sustain a viable SCI program at Lincoln. Families have been turned away under the false pretense of low enrollment or that the program is full, and now we have no way of telling how many students could have been enrolled in the Kinder SCI by now because they were either forced into dual immersion or they were told they must go to another school. So I just want to make sure that this board, in your capacity as the oversight authority on behalf of the community members you represent, I want you to exercise your discretion to make this breach of trust a performance issue as we close out this first year of employment for our superintendent. You know, trust is something that has to be earned over time. Credibility is not automatic. And I think that was probably our last superintendent's downfall. He didn't understand that reality. We want to trust as parents that decisions are being made for the best interest of our children and for the right reasons. And when those reasons are in conflict with each other, like for example, when our principal at Mission Park was fired unjustly, we just kept coming back to question everything. And all we do is highlight the anomalies. We were so hopeful when Ms. Martinez was hired that this would be a new day of trust and transparency. Some of you were here in April of 2015 when I stood up to highlight the core values of our community. At the top of that list of core values was trustworthiness. And I don't know where we go from here to repair that trust, but at the very least, I think this entire Lincoln situation needs to be, and the way it's been handled and the different things that have been told to our community, I think that needs to be documented in the performance record. So thank you for the added time.
Thank you. Anybody else? Okay, we stand adjourned to closed session.